Hey guys, Trevor Swenson with Through the Darkness, my personal journey with PTSD and trauma and stressor-related disorder. And today I wanted to talk about what I've learned about addiction through my walk with PTSD. And one of the things I hope that if you've watched my videos is that I really have undergone a change as far as my heart is concerned towards people that are suffering or are being crushed under the weight of trauma or a mental disorder such as major depressive disorder or an anxiety disorder, all three of which I am battling. But I wanted to talk about today what I've learned about addiction. And having struggled with addiction, the reason I feel good talking about this is that I have been there. And that's important in this talk as I talk about what I've learned about addiction and some things that have been pointed out to me that have been unbelievably powerful to me as I've walked through my journey with PTSD. I've told you in previous episodes that the first most powerful thing that was spoken over me when it came to my chemical addiction was, this is not your fault, but it is your responsibility to do something about it. And the important thing there is to finish the sentence. This is not your fault. If you left it at that, obviously there's a lot of work to be done after this is not your fault. And that was one of the most powerful things that was spoken to me. The other thing that I've learned about addiction is that some crazy percentage, and I don't know what the percentage is, but it's the high 90 percentage points, 97%, whatever it might be, of people that struggle with addiction, the underlying cause of that is trauma of some sort. And so when you think about how society treats somebody who drinks too much, who is addicted to a drug, think of the terminology that we use. You drunk, you sloppy drunk, you crackhead, you whatever society may label that person, a completely broken person controlled by a substance. They're too weak to resist it. Well, I will tell you this, that there isn't anybody on the face of the planet that walks through life saying, you know what, it would be pretty cool to become an alcoholic. I think that's what I'm going to set out to do, is become an alcoholic. And when you think about that and when it really hits home, and having been on both sides of the equation now, having been not controlled by a substance, completely controlled by a substance, and having beat the control of a substance, the number one thing that was most healing to me through my walk with chemical addiction was, why? Why are you drinking? What are you covering up? What is it that hurts so badly that you have turned to alcohol to cover up the incredible pain? That you have quietly utilized a drug for 8 years to numb the pain. What is your pain? What are you covering up? What are you hurting about? Let's talk about what hurt you so badly. And imagine how differently people would react if we approached people with, why are you drinking? What has hurt you deeply? And let's find help for processing what has hurt you so deeply, because we know that the alcoholism is a secondary part of dealing with trauma. Imagine how different that looks versus getting chewed out about your drinking habits, about having to numb the pain, being in so much emotional pain that the only thing that helps it that you can find is to completely numb yourself with alcohol, which is exactly where I was at. And by the grace of God, the first diagnosis I got, they were all over it, and they went down the correct road of, why are you drinking? What has hurt you so badly that you are trying to numb this pain? Versus, you do realize that having 8 to 10 beers a night is terrible for your health. You do realize it's a horrible example for your kids. You do realize that it's terrible. Well, no kidding. No kidding. I know that. And we need to be a lot more compassionate about how we look at people that are suffering and what they turn to when they are suffering, and start asking the right questions. Who hurt you? Why did it hurt so deeply? Let us get you help to process that, and then we will knock down the giant of chemical addiction. And I just think that would make a big difference in society as a whole. And that's what I've learned about addiction, is that, man, my heart has been softened, having been in all three phases myself, having, instead of people pounding on me about my drinking habits, people asking compassionately, what are you hurting so badly about? Who hurt you? Why do you hurt? What can you not shake? What were the situations? What were the traumatic things? What was it? Explain to us so we can help and get you going in the right direction and help process the trauma first. Just like is exactly what happened to me, is before alcoholism fell, I needed to start dealing with my trauma. And I just think that if we change our perspective on addiction and understood that addiction is simply covering up deep emotional wounds and trauma that need to be dealt with love and compassion and understanding and professional help, I think things would be a lot different in this society. This is Trevor Swenson with Through the Darkness. Click subscribe. Forward this on to somebody who you might think needs to hear it. I hope some of these things are helping somebody out there who is walking through what I'm walking through. We'll see you soon.